It is a great pleasure that we can now present Austria's first voluntary national review. It was prepared between May 2019 and June 2020 in a participatory and transparent broad stakeholder process, and we have deliberately opted for a broad involvement of state and non-state actors. We have been able to collect around 160 success stories and particularly impressive flagship initiatives. They show the many ways in which Austria is implementing the 2030 agenda in its social, ecological and economic dimensions and demonstrate what this broad commitment has already achieved.
Digital transformation is a core topic of our government agenda in Austria, and it is key to achieve the goals of the UN Agenda 2030. For me, it's very important to take all people with us on this journey. Digital knowledge and digital skills are important to be successful in private life, in public life and also in jobs. Therefore, we have started a digital action plan for Austria with major focus on certain areas. Digital skills is a key factor in this. We want to support the young generations, but also those who work in companies and also the elder generation plus 60. Another important topic are government services. So we are working hard on mobile government. Administration should be easy. It should be available 24 hours, 365 days a year. And therefore it's important also to start and implement a lot of projects on that side. We will continue to heavily invest in this digital transformation of Austria to contribute to Europe and the world.
With the inclusion package, full participation for all, the federal government is taking important measures for decent work for people with disabilities. The labour market policy package of measures has been developed together with disability organizations and partners. We have also consistently implemented the mandatory training of young people up to the age of 18, thus raising the overall level of education and employment of the Austrian population. Since 2016, the competence check for women has been helping women who have fled to identify their professional skills, develop a realistic career goal and lead an independent life on this basis. I would also like to make a particularly positive mention of the SDG team from the Austrian National Youth Council. With regard to Austria's sustainable healthcare system, I would like to underline the provision of high-quality care, the expansion of primary care, as well as the promotion of women's, youth and children's health.
Austria is working hard on all levels of government to reach its ambitious climate goals for becoming climate neutral by 2040. Promoting renewable energy sources as energy carriers of the future, the government is making an internationally relevant contribution to climate protection and the sustainable restructuring of energy systems. Specific contributions to climate action and adaptation to climate change on a regional level are made by the regional programs of the Austrian federal provinces. They offer funded consultancy services for businesses and public institutions. In addition, with the federal green finance agenda, we are creating a valuable basis for financing urgently needed climate protection measures. The bioeconomy strategy, adopted in March 2019, is another lighthouse project that I would like to mention in this context. Bioeconomy is pushing the replacement of fossil resources, raw materials and energy sources by renewable resources, and thus makes a decisive contribution to the decarbonization of the economic system. Against the background of positive environmental and climate effects, sustainable consumption and production methods are also addressed in the strategy and all of our work.
Many thanks for this brief overview. We have also collected a number of impressive flagship initiatives from civil society in our review. The Digital Farmers Market, Markta, was even awarded the SDG Award 2019 by the independent business organization Senat der Wirtschaft. I'm looking forward to founder Theresa Imre telling us more.
With Magda, we want to bring more authentic, natural and sustainable food to the people. We're a digital farmers market and online platform which shortens our supply chains and re-embeds local food production. Our mission is to revolutionize our food system, not only to help small producers survive, but to empower them to compete against global structures and mainstream farming. Having won the Austrian SDG Award has given us greater awareness and recognition, something we most urgently need to shape our world in a more environmentally sustainable and socially fair manner.
The work on Austria's first voluntary national review has been very intensive during the recent months and has been made possible thanks to a close and broad cooperation of all governmental bodies and cooperation partners on federal, state, city and municipal level, as well as social partners, the civil society, economy and science. 2 selected representatives will now tell us how they experienced the process.
We, as the Austrian National Youth Council, were very happy to be able to contribute to the voluntary national report. From our point of view, the implementation of the 2030 Agenda is a matter not only of global justice, but also of intergenerational justice. We recognize that the editing process was a good starting point to establish a multi-stakeholder approach in Austria that could foster the implementation of the 2030 Agenda. Nevertheless, we see that there is still a lot of work to be done, be it raising awareness in all groups of our society or the implementation of effective long-term policies that match the goals of the 2030 Agenda. One thing we know for sure: we, as young people, want to be an active part of society and of the change that is needed to reach the SDGs. We do not only need to be empowered, but moreover, we need to be political decision makers that are leading the change, transforming our world. Let's make it happen.
As SDG Watch Austria, with about 200 civil society organizations, we appreciate the chance to share our experience in the review. Although we have missed a focused response for reaching the SDGs in Austria until 2019, we see the review as a turning point for a stronger implementation of the 2030 Agenda that serves as a compass for a decent life for all. We commend the review as a participatory process in which stakeholders contributed success stories and provided feedback to most of the chapters. We are pleased that some of our recommendations from civil society are included in the final version of the review. We have seen that only good collaboration with all stakeholders can ensure an inclusive implementation of the 2030 Agenda. And we believe that efforts need to be strengthened in the future, since reaching the goals remains challenging. As highlighted in the concluding chapter of the review, we recommend a strong multi-stakeholder dialogue, including civil society and academia, more financial resources, continuous reporting to Parliament, and we look forward to a strengthened political engagement for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals in Austria. The cause is worth it. A decent life for all.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Of course, we have also learned some lessons at the state level. For example, the stakeholder process will continue to be an important part of the implementation of the 2030 Agenda. We furthermore put great emphasis to statistical data material provided by the Statistics Austria for monitoring the implementation of the SDGs. The COVID-19 crisis has confronted us with extraordinary challenges. Above all, we will need to focus intensively on the social and economic consequences. The crisis also shows that our 3 priorities will become even more relevant in the future. Austria will actively use the newly created knowledge base and will continue to push ahead with its efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm looking forward to your questions.